We are very excited to have Chris Kattan in the studio with us. Chris Kattan, of course, from Saturday Night Live. He's going to be performing 2 shows tonight at Penguins Comedy Club, located inside the Vault in downtown Cedar Rapids. The shows are 7:30 and 10 o'clock. And I think it was probably a really short turnaround from last night. You just did a show last night in Waterloo, right?
I did, yeah. I got off stage around 12:15 and then had to go pack, repack. No, pack.
It's all packing, whether it's packed or repacked, it's
repacking
packing.
or packing. I said it was repacking because at one point I packed, and then I had to unpack, so at this point I was repacking.
That's the travel experience, Chris.
It is. Yeah.
In a nutshell.
Yeah, and I got all these hairbrushes I'm selling too.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, and Playboys.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
I'm in the market.
You are for what, the brushes?
Thank you for asking. God bless you for asking.
Can't you tell he's not?
Your hair is out of control.
Yeah.
Listen,
You're what they call a hot mess.
I'm a hot mess.
You are a hot mess.
Thank you for noticing.
Oh, yeah.
He obviously doesn't need the brushes.
Well, that depends.
Okay.
Listen, sip some coffee.
Sure.
Let's all calm down for a minute.
Yeah, I really am out of control.
Love to have a conversation with Chris Kattan next.
Z, 102.9. Good morning, Schulte Swann. Here's 742.
All right, our forecast brought to you by Kelly's Auto Body, 16th Avenue in Cedar Rapids, just up the hill from Jefferson High School. In fact, I'll be over there in the next day or two. Yeah, I had a little fender bender yesterday.
Again?
What
Well,
happened?
I wasn't driving.
Was your hair in the way?
My hair got in the way. If only I'd had a brush.
Oh, well, I got 5 right here.
No, sir, you have 4.
You're right.
Write me up for 1. Partly sunny, becomes mostly sunny today. 85 degrees will be the high. It's 64 right now. At today's hits, Z 102.9. We are elated to have Chris Kattan in the studio with us. 2 shows tonight at Penguins Comedy Club, downtown Cedar Rapids, inside the Vault. Show times are 7:30 and 10 o'clock. And we're just so thrilled to have you here. Who wants to start? Where do we want
Well,
to
I'll
start?
just start. I'll start with Claire has put together a list of some of her favorites, Chris. And is he able to hear now, Claire?
There we go.
Now we can.
How about The Attorney You Can't Understand?
Mr. Forrester, your witness.
Miss Bunny, can you tie a titty? Exactly. Adiodo to Faraday. Excuse me. To Faraday. Simple question. Tie a titty, go ahead.
I don't,
So you don't, do so do.
do-si-do?
Did I just hear you say, do so do? Nah, do so do. But do so do.
And then there's Mango.
You're like such a fool. I guess I'll be going.
Yes, that's right. I hate you.
But
No, get out.
oh, don't tease me that way.
What? I don't tease you.
There you go again.
What are you talking about?
There, see?
See what? You're crazy. Get away from me. Go.
Goodbye, Mango.
Goth Talk.
Hello and welcome to Goth Talk. I'm Circe Nightshade, and tonight we are paying our last respects to a dear kindred who has finally gone thither to his mortal reward. Welcome to the funeral of Azrael Abyss.
I am the Prince of Sorrow. Woo! Yes, I'm dead indeed. La, la, la.
Azrael, come on.
What is love?
Of course.
Now we're all bobbing our heads.
All right.
Ladies and gentlemen, Chris Kattan in the studio.
Thank you. Well, that was very sweet.
Claire is
Big fan.
Claire's
totally
very
geeked
excited.
out for you,
Yeah.
Claire.
Oh, you're so sweet.
We all are.
The good news is I haven't passed away.
Yes. And now we are standing around looking at you.
Oh, but you can still cry. Yeah, that's very sweet of you. Those were from Saturday Night Live, and there actually is. I think there's a. I was lucky to that Lauren Michaels called me one day and said there's going to be a best of Chris Kattan DVD on Saturday Night Live, which is not
I've got
common.
it.
You
Not
do?
for everybody.
I do.
No, there really isn't, which I didn't know, and there is. You know, when before I got on the show, I had one of Eddie Murphy and Tom Hanks and Steve Martin, and now, you know, that there was one of me, and it's really before I left the show, Lorne Michaels did say, like you're a staple. You'll leave, and then you'll see that you're a staple on the show. And he usually says things that end up being true because he has the control to make that happen on his show, especially. But he was right. I ended up being somebody that made their mark in a big way, and they're very good about not having people repeat what somebody did when they made their mark. They don't do that. If someone like a Fred Armisen, who's a great friend, would do something that's like, oh, that's a little bit of it. They'd say like, oh, that's a little bit too Kattan. You can't do that. And they're very respectful of that.
Protective.
A what?
Protective.
Yeah,
Sort of.
Not just protective, but they have a reputation to do that as an institution. They don't want to repeat.
I think of the run on Saturday Night Live as being sort of similar to being in the NFL, where you kind of get your that part of the career has a certain stretch of time, and 10 years is a long time to be on Saturday Night Live. That was your stretch, which would be like a really...
It's a little shorter. It was 8.5, but that's
okay.
Fine. It's still...
That's a good run.
Oh, no. Yeah, it was. And I left on my own. I asked to... I actually just came back from a wedding. I was in Martha's Vineyard before I came out here to Iowa. And it was for Seth Meyers. He got married to his wife, and I actually introduced him and his wife.
Huh.
And so I was actually part of the vow, which was kind of nice. I was thanked.
He's so brilliant.
Yeah, he is very brilliant. But he thanked me for, getting them together. And Lauren was there, too, and I haven't seen them. And my table was like Sudeikis and Kristen Wiig and Amy Poehler and Fred and
Wow.
That
Forte.
sounds like an
Oh, my
awesome
goodness.
table at a wedding.
It was the gang. And, we can't help but like reminisce. We're just like it's like really like family. I mean, because we were in a group that really loved each other. We weren't like, there are some people that left and burned the bridges or whatever and left in a mad huff puff, and we don't see them that often. But when we see each other in this little tight group, we're really excited to see each other.
What little snatches and bits I've gathered of what it must be like to work in that environment, it seems really intensive and really like it'd be just... people probably don't get how tough it must be to actually have that grind every week.
Yeah, it's intense. But it's so intense. You're just like the way you're raised and for that show, and the reason why you're on that show is because you can stand it and be part of it, and you're just in it. You're doing it. You don't think about it. You just do it. You're already a good writer. You're already creative. You already are able to come up with brand new ideas at the tip of your tongue. You're all ready to have a very witty conversation with anyone without thinking about it. It's just things you could do without thinking about it. And if you're able to do that, then you're able to be on a place like that and grow from there. And then when you grow from there with other people that could do that too, then you grow together, and then you can create other things together, and you stay up late and write, and then you can create and keep creating and grow, and you learn forever. As long as you're alive and you keep yourself healthy, you constantly learn, and you just are constantly creative. And that's what's great about being on an institution like that. I'm sure it's the same way about being on a great newspaper or a magazine like Vanity Fair or something like that. You just become a better writer, and you become write better articles, and then you make it to the cover, and as long as you stick together, you do great work. And you too, also, when you leave the show, you end up back together too. I mean, a lot of people that left are now, like Michael Schur was one who wrote for the Update, and now he left and created The Office and Parks and Rec, and now Brooklyn 99 with Sandberg. So people on Parks, we all come back to each other in some way or another.
They came out of the Groundlings, which you had a great pedigree coming into it. And in fact,
that's where you learned.
Father was one of the founders of that.
Yeah.
So it's not like you weren't born to it to a degree. What did you come out of the Saturday Night Live experience with that maybe surprised you, or that from a skill standpoint that you didn't already have, even at that level that you were at in Los Angeles?
Able to be rejected and know what it's like to be just told no, or not even no. Just know what it's like to not have your immediate dream happen, or your thought of like, oh, that'll happen or that'll work, and then it's just not going to happen.
Is there a bit that didn't get used that still bugs you?
But there's a lot of that. You write something and then you really love it, and it does great at the table, the read-through table, and then it doesn't make the air. But after a while, you look at it and you get older and you go, oh, there's a thing called the show that isn't just me. And then, and then you understand and then you let it go. And then somehow that comes back to you. If you're one that's, liked and you like other people,
Was there a bit, though, or something that still sticks out in your mind that you go, that should have made it on?
There's a couple things. I did Bono once. But that made it on Update. I was Bono. But I did an actual sketch of Bono where he was this kind of a superhero. Like it was like the week that he was on Time Magazine and he got the Nobel Peace Prize. And, the interior of his jacket had the American flag.
Right.
So he would go, it was just a scene and a very quick sketch. And there was a scene of like these naked pygmies in Africa and they're starving and then they go, oh, look in the sky. And then Bono came down with a cape. And I went, yeah. And I think I handed over some Heineken. And I went, and then I went, my job is done. And then I flew off. And then a shot of me flying around. It's just a silly sketch. But it was really funny. And it was very timely. And it didn't make it for time. It's about the show. Lauren is really just, it's about the show. And there's so much going on, the sketches and there's sets and there's actors and there's a time limit. So if one actor can't make it to the other side and in time or the set can't be moved over there, there's a lot going on. It's a live show and that's always forgotten. But totally appreciate it if you see it live. It's incredible.
Is the energy of that, it has to be much different than when you're making a movie or a TV.
Well, yeah, because it's the threat of you're on air, so it can't, you may not necessarily run to the other side of the stage in time or the set, and make it. You almost just do. It's like it's part of life in a weird way. It's really therapeutical because you just trust that you'll make it. You'll trust that you'll be on time. That's why I think a lot of people sometimes, if I'm cutting it close to a show or cutting it close to a flight, people are like, oh, you're not going to make it. You're like 20 minutes away. It's like, I'll make it. And then somehow you do. I mean, because we're, well, sometimes. Hopefully most of the time. But
It's a bad day to bring that up, Chris.
because you're so used to sliding into that split second right before you're on air. And they're yelling 5 seconds, 4, 3, 2. And you go slide right in and then you're on. Boom.
Kattan time.
Well, that's mine. What does that mean?
It's like you're on your own time.
Yeah, that's my own time. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Well, it's there. It's our time.
Stand by. Can we hang on to you for just a little bit? Chris
Right,
Kattan,
sure.
two shows tonight at Penguins Comedy Club in the Vault, downtown Cedar Rapids on 2nd Avenue there. The show's 7:30 and 10 o'clock tonight. Our very special guest this morning is Chris Kattan. We're thrilled to have him here. Of course, Saturday Night Live and movies and all kinds of TV shows and appearances that have gone on since then, and we can get to some of that as well. But he's in Cedar Rapids tonight. You got two opportunities to see him, 7:30 and 10 o'clock. He'll be at the Penguins Comedy Club. It's inside the Vault on 2nd Avenue in downtown Cedar Rapids. And so lately, what are you up to? I know we've had some. We were just talking privately a little bit about you're in the middle.
I was
you're in
on
there and have been. And
the middle. I was on that for like a consistent 2.5 years. Mm-hmm. And
it's a very, very funny show.
I love
it is very funny, very well written, and great. All the production values and everybody on it, from the cameraman and art department, and especially Patricia's awesome. She tweets me every so often, goes, "Hey, doll, love you, doll," and Neil's awesome. The kids, Charlie, and yeah, they're just really, really professional. They're great, and it's not done for me. It's what it is. Well, first of all, I've never been on a sitcom like that. I've never been on a sitcom really. SNL's not a sitcom, but I've never been on a sitcom where you have the same character every week and you get lines that you don't change, and it's hard for me to not have to change them. I want to change them and I want to improvise, and they don't want that. They don't encourage you to do that at all. Like if you even ad-lib a the or a theirs or something with an apostrophe, they're like, let's do it again. And it's kind of like, it's really a little bit frustrating. But it's very good for me, too, to know what that's like, because these kind of sitcoms that have a lot of money involved, it's an ABC show, network show right before Modern Family. It's at 8 o'clock, and it's a big family show across the nation. And Warner Brothers is producing it. So it's a lot of money involved, a lot of power, a lot of talent. And these people have families. The cameraman has got 2 kids. They all want to go home. They all get up around the same time, around 6:30. they all, if I know my lines, perfectly, if I show up perfectly, and I could nail the first line in the first take, which I usually do, maybe second take or third take. I'm really good at that. Usually. Sometimes there's been times where I don't know my paragraph perfectly, and then kind of like they're not, they're like, you could just feel like they want to go.
The tension sort of.
You don't have that take, then you cheated me, for 15 minutes with my child.
That's a different level of pressure right there.
It's a different kind of, yeah, exactly. And so anyway, but they contractually they weren't really keen on letting me do other things too much. I did a How I Met Your Mother, and they weren't very happy about that. It wasn't the show; it was the network. That's the CBS show, and that's ABC, so they like to keep it a home family kind of thing, and I totally understand that. But they so-called loved Kattan, and so and they want me back, but I guess in the script they changed. She no longer worked.
She's no longer at the car dealership.
And my place was the car dealership.
Right.
Although there was a lot of episodes where I wasn't at the car dealership, and I was in their family.
Right.
And there were times where I was like, well, I guess hopefully I'll be like the Fonz and move in and just do the show. But that was not the case. Because it's not my show.
I like the show. I like the show where you thought Brick was trying to get your girlfriend.
Yeah, I like that too.
That was really funny.
But that would be my show if they kept going. They liked it too a lot. But there's other people who are like, yeah, that was really good, and now it's my turn.
Yeah.
But that's okay too, because now I'm writing something I've always wanted to write with a friend of mine named Paul Danello. He wrote and created Strangers with Candy. And he's the head writer, one of the head writers of Stephen Colbert.
I was going to say with Stephen Colbert.
Yeah, he's a brilliant writer, genius guy. He's the kind of guy that if Jon Stewart needs help with a speech for the president, he's called and he'll immediately think of something funny. He's really brilliant, and I'm lucky to have him as a friend and to share an idea that we want to write together. So we're writing a pilot now that's really, really smart and very funny, and I get to use my what I like to do, and also be at my age too, which is not that old, I'm 42, but still be physical, but also be funny and do a character that's along the lines of like a 30 Rock or The Office, or characters that I miss that I grew up watching. I loved like Albert Brooks. I thought it was great, and I loved some aspects of Woody Allen when he got into the relationships, although it's a little too nebbish. But I loved W.C. Fields. I love classic stuff. I love the road pictures with Bob Hope and Bing Crosby.
Funny's funny.
Funny is funny. You're exactly right. And it's like funny's funny, and it always is funny. And the only time it's not funny anymore is if it's got something to do timely-wise. Like it's an inside joke. Like, not too many people remember, what's his name, who didn't say potato right.
Oh, right. Quail.
Yeah, that was
Dan Quail.
That was a long run, but I don't think anyone really remembers that. But that would have been the biggest, number one joke at the time. It's like update jokes too, like on SNL, like they're, oh my God, it's the biggest joke. But I don't really remember too many of them. But luckily, like the characters on SNL, what I try to do is do things. My dad told me, who was also one of the members of the Groundlings, would say like you should do characters that are like would speak every language. Which is a lot of what I do. Like physical comedy always speaks every language. You could be totally deaf and in any country and understand what Mr. Peepers is doing, even though that's not the highest brow of characters. But people remember that thing, and they remember it well. And not too many people go back and try to do the same thing again. So there becomes an appreciation for it. So I like that. But anyway, yes, I am 5'8".
Yes, that was. How did you know I was going to ask that?
That was the next question.
Yeah.
Well, of course, weight was going to be next.
You're so sweet, by the way, for making that little mixtape of me.
I'm just a big fan, and I can't believe you're here.
My ego has just risen.
Claire has been excited all week for your appearance.
Yes.
Oh, are you going to go to the show?
I am, 7:30.
It should be a very good show. Last time was great.
How it's different than regular stand-up, right?
Well, it's I have a format. I have a set.
Okay.
But, I'll go into improv and go, so what do we got here? Who is here? And then I'll talk to people and then basically have a conversation. And then I poke fun in a sweet way, and nobody ever gets hurt. But, I do talk to people, and, it's always pretty surprising because I don't end up knowing what I'm going to say. And somehow, just because I know how to get out of it safely and try to have a beginning, a middle, and end, my conversations with people it feels like they have a joke on the end of it. So they almost feel like it's been set up or something. But it's just, I have improvised moments, or just like I just have conversations just like this, you know, and just like you know how to end a conversation. You want to find a button so you can go to commercial.
Right. Well,
Sometimes
that's what we need to do right now, because we do have to very quickly do
so we
news.
got to end this on a joke. And the joke is, let's bring back your hair. And
The aristocrats.
the aristocrats.
All right.
In the meantime, I can't see my buttons because my hair's grown crazy. Oh, there it is. Let's cut to commercial.
All right.
Chris.
7:30 and 10 tonight. Penguins Comedy Club inside the vault. Chris Kattan. Go see the show tonight. You'll have a great time.
Honor to meet you.
Oh, great to meet you guys. I'm sorry, the other gentleman, who's Rick, was blocked by a monitor the entire conversation.
I put you
But you know
over there
what?
hoping you could
Hoping
see
you could
everybody.
see.
My
I
bad.
can see Rick now. Rick is actually better looking than you.
Yeah, he's
too.
very handsome.
Wow, thank you.
And swarthy. Swarthy.
But Claire's been standing up the whole time, which is the best view. So
Yeah, absolutely.
You don't miss anything.
not yet.
Yeah.
I have coffee right here.
Well, enjoy your coffee. Thank you. Great to meet you.
Great to meet you.
Go see.
Hold on. There we are.
Nice to see you.
Nice to see you, buddy.